What does a human at a computer do? They sit down, they're connected to the internet,
and get information.
They are able to use a bunch of tools to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Anything a human does sitting at a computer can now be replicated
By an AI agent.
by an AI agent.
So that's how you got to think of it.
It's got the ability to reason, which is thinking. You know what I mean? And this is something we haven't dealt with before.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what I think people aren't understanding. We're not going to remember what life was like. Can you imagine not being able to find something out instantly?
One day we're not going to do this podcast and it's going to be just the electronic AI version of me.
But what they're talking about at the moment is they reckon in 24 months, there is going to be more AI agents than humans on the planet. More AI. Think about that.
One day we're not going to do this podcast and it's going to be just the electronic AI version of me.
I can't wait.
Think about it all the time, we'll say.
That's going to be sad.
Nah, we'll still do this. People will get upset that it's not AI and that we're actually talking.
I'm like,
Oh, fuck,
humans?
I came here. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I came here for the AI. I didn't come here to hear two podcast bros talk,
Well,
as I've been called before.
podcast bros.
Yeah, we've been called podcast bros. Haven't you? Don't you read the comments?
I read them multiple
We
times.
read all the comments, every single one of them. All you haters out there. That's why we keep coming back. We probably wouldn't do the podcast if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, you're.
We live to piss you off.
That's what we're here to do. AI.
So a couple of weeks ago, we were having a chat and you're like, hey, man, have you heard of this? I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, in the movies, yes, I've heard of that, but not in real life. And I want to touch base with you and have a discussion with you because you're a lot more educated than what I am. And I guarantee if you are listening to this right now, 90% of you are not educated in this space.
Oh, dude, I
If
think
not
it's
more.
more than
Yeah.
90.
Maybe 98.
Like,
I'll give it
genuinely.
2%.
I would say I'm not yet an expert in this space.
Not an expert, but you're educated. You're more educated than most. You understand the concept and what
I've
it can
built
do.
an agent.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we just dropped it. I haven't said what we were talking about yet.
don't
Shit.
care.
You ruined it.
I can't
You ruined
help it.
I'm going to turn the podcast off.
this is.
I'm done.
We're in the time where speed matters.
Yeah. You're talking about AI agents. Okay. Not just AI. And whenever anyone thinks about AI, like what's the first thing you think of? What's the first thing they think of? ChatGPT.
Yeah, dude.
The only thing.
Okay, so just before I walk downstairs, and one of your employees says, "Hey man, ChatGPT just saved me 3 hours." Blah blah blah. He's like, "This AI stuff's sick," and I just looked at him and I'm like, "That is the most basic of AI." Like I said, "You're gonna freak," and then I walked halfway up the stairs and I said, "Freak when George fires you because he doesn't need you anymore."
Yeah. Heard it here first. It's like, but it's the equivalent to someone coming up to you and you go, hey, I just did this thing where I typed into a box and it's called Google. And then it showed me a whole bunch of stuff.
But that would be cool back then.
That's what I
Think
mean.
about it.
That's what I mean. That's
Think
the equivalent,
about it. Yeah.
isn't it?
Think about it. Imagine
People are looking at AI now.
Imagine
and
you're
they're
like, how do you find something out? Let's go to let's drive to the library and find the encyclopedia. And we got to get the right letter because they're all in separate books because there's so much information. And it's not here, so we'll come back next week. And then hopefully by next week we can find out what that thing was.
Or you're like, hey, we need to paint this wall. Okay. Let me just go to the yellow pages, see if I can find a painter.
Yeah.
And AAA.masterpainter comes up.
And then, and then you have to go find the book, sit down with the book, flick through the book, find the person, contact them, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like,
If they
you
answer.
can't believe it. This is all on one thing now.
Yeah. And you just go here into this
It's
Google
like
thing.
you go type in this
What a
thing,
funny
it comes
word.
out. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Wow!" No one had heard the
Blew
term
my
Google.
mind.
Do you know what Google? The definition of Google is?
None.
You don't know what Google is?
Zero.
Serious?
Zero idea. You're about to blow my mind.
Oh man, I had this fact in my mind, and I'm like, I'm gonna drop this on the pod. It's gonna be sick.
Is it about Google?
Nah, but
I
I'll tell you
don't
what a
hear it.
Google is. A Google is a number.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's 1 followed by 100 zeros.
Cool.
It's the
That's a
biggest number.
Google.
So, yeah, Google it.
I'm going to Google what Google means.
I'll tell you right now.
I'm
You
gonna
think
do
this
it.
is a game? What's a Google?
Hey, Siri, what's a Google?
Doesn't work.
So it asked me if I wanted to use ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's because there you go. Anyway, if you can, I don't know, if you can zoom into that.
If you can't, sort your shit out.
Yeah, but there you look, it's
I believe you. I don't doubt. There you go. 10,
not a joke.
100 zeros.
That was the first time I ever heard the term Google. It was in primary school. And they taught us that.
wow.
Yeah.
No. First time I heard, no. I can't remember that far back. I'm 40.
Yeah, I don't know. I found it fascinating.
I'm fascinated. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
that
it's
was
the
that.
equivalent.
And
It's the
now this
equivalent
is
now.
this.
You know, people are going, and we did this at events 2 years ago when we did our first event. Stood up in front of a crowd and you're like, tell me, put your hand up if you've heard of ChatGPT. And you had like 3 people put their hand up. And you do the same thing today. So put your hand up if you've heard of ChatGPT. And it's like everyone put their hands up.
I made the first ChatGPT video like
I remember that one.
6 days after it came out.
Was it that early?
Yeah, I got it early. People had never heard of it.
Yeah. I remember you told
I told a lot of people about it, dude.
I
was
think
running
I
around.
heard of it.
Yeah.
And then you had done that. And then it's like and then you told me I have to check it out.
Yeah.
And then I set up an account.
sorry, maybe it wasn't 6 days. Maybe it was 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But it was six
Something.
something. And it wasn't 6 months.
Seconds?
I wish. But nonetheless, now you go and you type into this thing and it talks back, right? So if you look at it from a technological, like let's just lay it out, right? Are you a visual guy?
I'd say so, yes. Yes, I would be. Because if I'm trying to recall stuff, I look like up and right. Isn't that visual? You know, you're looking in the right part of in that part of your brain. When you're thinking about, you're doing it right now.
Yeah, but I think everyone does that.
No, I think some people might look left, and I think that depends whether you're
Left and
which
right. One's creation. Oh, well, this is the theory.
Yeah.
One's
creative,
Creative?
one's, logical.
one's creation, like you're creating the thought, and the other one's remembering. So one's looking back, and the other one's usually if they look left, they're lying.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's the theory. I don't know how well I haven't tested it, but
Back to what I was saying.
let's lay it out on a board. Okay, so you as a human now, you go and talk to chat. Do you call your chat anything?
Chat.
Do you call it chat?
Okay,
Me too.
hey, chat.
Yeah, me too. Hey chat. Do you message it good morning?
I haven't done that. No,
Yeah, me either.
but mine. I say thank you.
Of course, and please,
Yeah,
and your majesty,
yeah.
and everything. Just don't kill me. So right now, there's a human. Human talks to chat. Chat responds. That's the whole thing. How it works, right? I talk to it. It talks back. So imagine talking to a human that could only talk, and you're like, "Hey, blah blah blah," and then they say da da da, and then you're like, "Okay, cool. Like this human talks. That's great." And then imagine all of a sudden now you're like, "Hey, here's a computer. It's got all these tools on it. You've got my CRM, you've got my email, you've got all this. And now you know how to think, so you know how to reason with what I'm telling you and take actions based on that because you can do that, but you can only talk back before. So if you go to ChatGPT now and you say, can you check what I've got on tomorrow? You can't do that because it'll turn around and say, I don't have access to your calendar. Right? So the next step is you give it access to tools. And then you can say, hey, what do I have on tomorrow? And it says, tomorrow you've got this at 3 p.m., this at 2 p.m., this at 1 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. And then you can say, cool, what's the weather tomorrow for my appointments? And then it'll be like, tomorrow the weather's looking like it's going to be this and that because you've connected it to your email, your calendar, and your weather app. And then you can say, cool, can you just send everyone I've got a meeting with tomorrow? Can you get the details from the CRM and just email them and just confirm that they're going to be able to arrive? If they haven't accepted the invite. So it'll go check who hasn't accepted the invite for your thing tomorrow and then go send them, grab their details from the CRM and then email each individual one by one a personalized message coming from you. Right? This is basically at the point where you can say, okay, cool. If I've got, what does a human at a computer do?
Say what?
What does a human at a computer do? They sit down, they're connected to the internet.
Yeah,
and
get information.
They are able to use a bunch of tools to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Anything a human does sitting at a computer can now be replicated
By an AI agent.
by an AI agent.
So that's how you got to think of it then, don't you? Then think
Yeah.
about how many of you sit at a computer and do stuff.
Yeah, and then if there's a step in the process where, let's just say, for example, part of your role requires you to do something physically, that will probably be the only part that you need to continue to do. And every other part will be replaced.
Yeah.
because it'll be in an automated process that can be done by agents or a team of agents. So you might have,
So can you have one agent that rules them all?
yeah,
Going to
yes,
reference for Lord of the Rings, because I know you're a massive Lord of the Rings fan.
huge.
One ring to rule them all.
Um,
Yeah, so because you're going to have many agents working for you, so you'll have one that does your emails.
so can I
You'll have
ask you a
one-
question?
Yeah.
Can you hire someone to look after your team?
Yeah.
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 So why can't you do this?
Okay. So then who would you be communicating with? Would you be communicating with the specific agent, or would you communicate with the one that rules them all?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you hire someone to manage your team,
Yeah.
do you communicate with the person that manages your team or do you communicate with them all?
Depends what mood I'm in, but
Yeah, so you can do it depending on what mood you're in.
yeah. So I could be, but from an agent point of view, I would want it to be one thing that I speak to, not multiple things. So you name your agents to make it easy, I guess, to track what they do.
Shout out to Reggie.
Reggie, what's cracking? And Julia, for me. And because Robbie's building agents for us as well. But so we got, I just want to be speaking with Reggie. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to speak to Reggie, Julia, Frank,
It's up to you.
Vincenzo.
Yeah, so it's up to you. You can do that in real life too. You can do that. You've got a GM in your business.
Yeah,
you
so
could just
think
talk
about
to your
it, think
GM.
about it.
I mean, just talk to your GM.
Again, you're a massive movie buff, but I think about Jarvis from, say, Iron Man, okay, where he walks into the room and he'd be like, Jarvis, can you calibrate this or do this or blah, blah, blah. And he just talks to it like he would talk to a human. And similar to what you said, hey, what have I got on tomorrow? I said, you've got meetings here. Cool. Can you push that back? Because like, Dev, can you push it back to like 10? All right. And just let everyone know. It's like, yep, cool, no worries. And then it does that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I used to say. Like AI wasn't at that level when it came out. Like they didn't exist. Well, that's how I saw it. And I think that's where AI is going to be really powerful, when you can start talking to it to do those things for you. And you walk in, it's like you walk in the morning and you're like, hey, Frankie, like what do I got on today? It's like, yeah, like today, perfect example. I had a Zoom meeting scheduled for 12 p.m. I actually called my PA and I said, hey, can you tell them I'm going to be 10 minutes late? And she's like, yep, cool, no worries. So she emailed him, said, hey, 10 minutes late, we're going to start at this time. She's like, yep, no worries. But, you know, if I had Frankie or Reggie do that for me,
You would.
say, hey, Reggie, I've got my 12 o'clock meeting. Can you let them know I'm going to be 10 minutes late? So, yep, cool, no worries, just send them an email. And it does it.
It will do it.
Yeah.
That's now.
Yeah.
Someone, so, okay.
That's powerful shit.
Right now.
So,
Like,
okay.
I could go now
Yeah.
and build one for you where you could talk into your device
Yeah.
and be like, hey, email Robbie. So this will be connected to everything you do. So it's connected to your CRM, which has all your contacts. It's connected to your email.
Would my CRM have just every single email that I get?
Yeah, we can
You
integrate
can,
that.
you can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't save my emails. They're just kind of
They
there.
feed in.
Yeah.
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 So it's all integrated. So
Yeah.
as soon as someone emails you, they're in the system.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So you can go and say, hey, can you email Robbie and just let him know that I want to do a podcast tomorrow, and send him a calendar invite for 2 p.m. And then it will go and formulate an email based on how you've trained it to talk,
Yeah.
and say, hey, Robbie, blah, blah, blah. George asked me to email you. He wants to do a podcast at 2 p.m. I've already sent the invite. Let me know if all good.
Yeah. And then does it do it instantly?
Yes.
So when I
instantly?
say, like, doesn't have to grab the mouse, click on the new email, then click on here, then write the email, then type it out. So could it do it done? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe not done,
Yeah, can you do, do this, do that? Can you do this? Like, will it take 5 minutes? Will it take 30 seconds?
Yeah,
Like how
so it depends on how they're trained.
Yeah.
So if they have to assess, there's a couple of things. If they're well trained and they know that, okay, cool, I've done this task before and I know I need this tool, this tool, this tool. It's like, let me put it this way. I got someone who's not computer literate, and I got your PA who's been working with you for 27 years. Who's going to send an email quicker? This is the exact same thing. You know what I mean? And people are asking questions that you could ask the same question about a human.
Yeah.
And say like, well, who's going to be quicker here?
Yeah.
But if you're asking the question of a well-trained one versus your PA, your well-trained one wins every time. Every time. It's not even close.
Yes. So then, and this is what's cool too.
Can you type as fast as ChatGPT?
No, not at all. It'll come up with the answer.
Yeah.
Then it'll be, and this is where it's also pretty cool because I'll get Julia, my AI agent, and say, Julia, can you message Robbie and find out, if he's available tomorrow to do a podcast? And she's like, yep, no worries. And then Julia actually messages Reggie,
Yeah.
which is your AI agent, and they speak together. They're like, hey, Reggie, can you check if Robbie's free tomorrow because I need to see, George wants to do a podcast 2 p.m. And then Reggie's like, cool, let me check his calendar, or goes through, checks your calendar, and goes, actually, yeah, Robbie's available. I'll just confirm with him and get back to you.
Yeah.
And then just goes back. She goes, yep, cool, no worries, let me know, and I'll send you a meeting request. And she goes, you get a message on your phone, or does a talk and says, hey, Robbie, are you good tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
This is what people are getting wrong. It would be like a human. So how would a human contact you? If
It will call me.
Huh?
It will call me or message me or something like that.
So this could do the exact same thing. So
That's
it could
what I mean. It'll
WhatsApp
call
you.
you.
It could WhatsApp you. Be like, hey,
are you good tomorrow?
are you good for tomorrow for 2 p.m.? It's available in your calendar. Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, yes. And it's like, all right, done. Boom. Goes, confirms with the other person. It's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could be like, no, I want to have a long lunch tomorrow. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like, you are in full control of this thing.
Yeah. So, okay, I want that. Cool.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, thanks, Robbie. That sounds great. Can you book it? Give me an agent. Like, how do I get an agent from you?
Yeah. So the first thing you need to ask, well, send me a DM, but the first thing you need to ask is, what do I want it to do? Because
I think,
let me finish, because this is important. We went to a handful of clients, 4 to be exact, and said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is new. It's recently starting to blow up. We're going to be super early to market. You'll get in at a fraction of the price, but it's going to be a beta model. You know what I mean? You were one of the people we approached. We approached several other clients. If you're listening to this, they know who they are. And the biggest friction point we've had is people don't know what they want.
yeah.
They're unsure because you can't think about what you don't know. Do you know what I mean?
That's going to lead into my next question. So it's like, okay, I start using it to do my emails.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just start there from an administration point of view, because I actually get 100 emails. Oh, come on, joke. I get 100 emails a day, if not more.
So how can you break down your filtering process for your emails?
Yeah, I reckon I could.
Yeah. So if you can break down your filtering process and we can train someone to filter it in the same way, they could get filtered and responded to. So not just you can set rules in Outlook to filter your emails, but you can get someone to respond. So you can be like, hey, this type of email, I want you to respond. You know what I mean? If the person's not in our system, we've never heard from them before, blah, blah, blah. Or they're just, reaching out because they want to tender a job, respond to them. Just say, we'll get in touch, save the details into the system. Let's record them as whatever their trade is. If they haven't mentioned their trade, Google it or ask them and it'll do all that for you. And then you could say, these emails, I want you to provide, so if someone emails us about the job, provide them an update as to where the job's at. We'll connect you to our project management software. So you can see where the jobs are up to, where they're up to date, and give them the updates. I don't want to talk to them. You do that. And then if my mother or father or anyone in my immediate family email, forward it through to me because I'll respond to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if my wife and kids, blah, 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 I'll take that. But everyone else, you sort out. And it'll do that.
Yeah.
And it can talk to them the same way you talk to ChatGPT, right? But you train it the same way you train. And you don't have to do ChatGPT or OpenAI or anything like that. You can do any of them. You can go do
Google one.
Yeah, you can do Claude, you can do Gemini, you can do DeepSeek, whatever it's called. There's heaps. But they're all just, they refer to them as LLMs. So large language models. It's like a brain. Right? So from the AI agent space, that's the brain. Then you teach it what you needed to teach, which is a knowledge base, and you give it a bunch of tools. Just like you do with your employees. You get them in, they've already got a brain, hopefully. Yeah. And then you get them in and you're like, hey, this is how we do this here. This is what we're about. This is what Pascon is. This is our brand guidelines. This is our vision, mission, blah, blah, blah. This is where the printer is. You know what I mean? This is where you go toilet. You show them everything, right? You onboard your staff member.
Does your AI agent need annual leave and sick leave and public holidays and shit like that?
Yeah, of course. They'll take you to Fair Work, everything.
They need overtime?
Dude, no annual leave, no sick leave. They
Okay, so
eat lunch once
I
a month.
get Julia to come in and she's helping me with all my shit.
Yeah.
And I call her and I say, hey, do this, so on and so forth. And then as I'm working, I'm like, oh, now I need it to do this. So whether it's Julia or Gregory coming in, let's call it Greg, not Gregory. Let's call it Greg.
Gregory sounds like an old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg sounds a little bit younger.
Okay, Greg.
So I've got Julia and I say, okay, cool. Now I need someone to arrange to sort out all my events.
Mm-hmm.
Can't Julia just do it all instead of getting a separate AI agent?
Yeah, yes and no. So they do have, can one of your CAs do it all?
I mean, yeah, if they were really good. But we're talking about an artificial intelligence. Like this can take on a lot.
But they
maybe
also,
an individual person can't take on that much.
Yeah, but they also have some level of capacity. So
Okay.
I think they can only run so many multiple things at any given time. They can actually multitask.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
do it well.
But I think there is only so much that they can do at any given time. Now, the whole premise you want, though, is you want to build it so that they are constantly filled with work. So just like you would in business, when the first person you hired, they were probably wearing multiple hats.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're probably like a bit of this, a bit of that, bit of that, bit of that. Now, when you've got 1,000 employees, you hire more specifically. You're like, hey, your job is video editing, and that's it. I don't want to see you doing anything else apart from video editing and on your break. You know what I mean? I don't want to see you editing photos. I don't want to see you scheduling posts on social media. I don't want to see you trying to build an ad campaign. Your job's video editing. You're either editing or getting better at editing.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the same sort of concept because you can get as many as you want. You can go from, and what they're talking about at the moment, there's still very limited information on this, by the way, like online. But what they're talking about at the moment is they reckon in 24 months, there is going to be more AI agents than humans on the planet. More AI. Think about that. That's 7-8 billion more AI agents than humans because you will go from having 10 staff to having 4 staff and 78 AI agents. Because now all of a sudden, your team has had 80% of its job replaced.
Yeah.
It's like all the manual, repetitive stuff that they do over and over and over again, they don't need to do anymore. There's now a tool. AI is a tool, dude. There is now a tool that can do that for them. Like the same way, and having an employee is a tool, this is an employee that lives in your computer
Yeah.
or lives in the internet world,
Yeah.
as I like to describe it. But most people can't even fathom how they would use it. Like, because they still can't comprehend what they can replace
Yes.
because we're so used to doing things in a particular way.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, even for me, as you said, I keep reverting back to my primal instincts of sending an email by myself or doing that task by myself. And you're like, no, the agent can do that for you.
Yeah, the agent can do that for you. That's the next step.
Yeah.
That's now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be like, hey,
So
email George.
Are
blah,
you
blah, blah,
building?
blah, blah.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Okay, cool. The business is coming and says, look, all right, I want to start embracing this AI shit, like this AI agent stuff now. I want to embrace it. I get Julia. I want you to make Julia for me to do my emails.
Julia
right?
with a G,
Yeah, it has to be with a G.
clearly.
Yeah. GIULLIA. We could call it. Fucking say it however, spell it however I want.
Yeah.
She won't even be upset.
I don't know. No, not yet.
Not yet. Give it time.
Time,
Don't
yeah.
piss them off yet. Oh, it's probably okay to piss them off now, but they'll just remember in the future.
Yeah.
They can't do anything about it now.
Well, you
but-
remember me,
yeah.
and you're like,
So when they send an email to the client telling them to fuck off, hey, this is Julia. George just wanted me to tell you. I overheard him talking about you today.
dude, that.
If you don't believe me, here's a recording.
Here's a recording, and here's the video. And then I even said, "Are you talking about this person?" And he said, "Yeah, fuck that guy."
Fuck that guy. Just FYI. And then she
That's-
blackmails you.
Yeah.
Said, I'm about to hit send.
Yeah.
About to
I'm
hit
about
send.
to hit send.
Get me a new.
Take your pants off.
I need a. About to hit send. I need a boyfriend. Make
Yeah.
me an AI boyfriend.
Yeah. And you're like, all right.
All right, relax. Sideways. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Okay, yeah. So I'm a business and I want to start embracing these AI agents. Okay, how does it work as far as Do I have to go to a website and log on and download something? Is it magically uploaded into my computer like a virus? Like how do I get the agent? Like where is it, an app?
Yeah,
Like
so-
what is it? Where do I go?
Yes.
Okay, there's Julia. And then do all the other agents live on that app? Like how do I access all of these things? So when I'm talking to my phone, I'm like, hey, Julia. And like she's like, yeah, hey, how are you, George? Good. XYZ.
Yeah. So there are platforms, AI agent building platforms. The same
Yeah.
way there are data platforms. So what's the best part here is like we're about to completely knock CRMs out the park, and then some people still don't know what a CRM is.
Yeah. That's
like-
funny.
Yeah. But what's a CRM?
Yeah. Client relationship manager.
No, but what is it?
It's a point of entry for all your information and then
Yeah.
being able to store it and communicate.
But what is it?
It's a management tool.
Yeah, no, but if you were to break it down and take away what it does,
Yeah.
what is it? It's a software. It's a piece of code
Yeah.
that works in a particular way, like a platform that you go on that stores data.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right? It's a platform, you log on, and it just has all your information,
Yep.
essentially.
Yep.
This is the same thing.
Okay. So,
So
then
there's
I would
platforms?
would it come through the platform would be the website? So I'd log on to a website?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
You'd
so
give
then
me
the
you'd give me user details
Yes,
for a
it
website.
all lives on the internet.
Okay. So then I get that. Like when I get into work in the morning,
Yeah.
okay, do I just turn on my computer and say, hey, Julia, how are you?
We can do it however you want.
Yeah.
I can make it so that you can talk into your phone
Yeah.
on and then
Instead
you
of saying,
connect it.
instead
Yeah,
of,
so, like, we
instead
can
of
connect it
addressing
through-
Siri or
we can connect it
ChatGPT.
through WhatsApp, so we can give it a dedicated number.
Yeah.
Connect it through WhatsApp. We can give it a landline number, a mobile number.
Yeah.
We can set it up so that you talk into Telegram. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you can be like, hey, and you've got a dedicated thing, and you know everything I send through here is going to my human. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So you can talk to it directly. But yes, it lives on the internet on a platform. Platforms that are out now are like Relevance AI, Bland AI, Voice Flow, Vappy. There's heaps. By the way.
Yeah. Where you can
N8N.
build the- so
N8Ns
this is where
are really
this is where you
popular.
build the agent.
This is where you build the agent.
Yeah, and then you
it's all
send
stored.
it. So now you've got an agent that does. Let's just say you've built an agent for that particular purpose. Just manage inboxes.
Yep.
All right, that's it. That's all. That's all Julia's going to do.
Yep.
You're going to send it to me. I'm going to get it.
Yep.
Now, do I need to? Is there a back end thing that you have to? Is there prep that you have to do? You have to say, okay, you're using Outlook. I've got to connect you to George's
course.
Outlook. So
Yeah.
Do you do that? How do I do that? Do you give
No, so we
instructions?
build them for them.
Yeah.
So we build it all out for you so that it's in line with what you want. But then
Yeah.
there's also ongoing management. So like you
Yeah.
need to make sure that things are up to date, because like if it loses connection with the tool, it can't turn around
Can't
and
do
say
its job.
Yeah, it can't
like,
turn around and
yeah,
say 1 sec, bro, let me pick it up.
If Outlook is down, you can't send emails. Like as in even with your employees.
yeah.
Yeah, if it's not, if the internet goes out, they can't use the tools to send
Yeah.
an email. So will the agent be able to self-teach, or do you need to do that on your end? So say if I go, okay, Julia, I want you to start, here's Outlook, just organize any emails you get from these people, just delete them, it's spam. Okay, I just want you to delete them straight away. Any email that I get from my team, say, hey, you can answer it based off what I would say, this is the rules, so on and so forth. Do I need to tell you that? Or can I, similar to how when you talk to ChatGPT, it gives you the answers by the prompts that you give it, do I have to train the AI agent? Or is it you that does that? Like I'll call you up and say, hey, I want it now to do this. I need it to also connect to my calendar and the weather because I want to do 80% of my meetings outdoors now.
So certain aspects it will self-learn, and then there's particular aspects where it would have to be done on the back end.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be able to go and connect itself to an app. Do you know what I mean? You have to get someone to go and connect it to an app.
Oh, so then could I have Julia connected to my emails, but also connected to WhatsApp at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you
so
could
go
WhatsApp
into the
Julia.
go into the Pascon, WhatsApp group, the operations
And it'll be there.
group.
Yeah.
So I would add her as a person.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would sit there as an
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah. And then I could say, hey,
It'd
can
be
you
a
just tell
dedicated number.
everyone? Can you tell everyone that the meeting's off for tomorrow? Or can you tell Simon that he needs to do this? So she can email Simon for me on WhatsApp and do all that sort of shit.
Or she could sit
Yeah.
in the group convo, and there could be 100 and 200 messages that go there.
Yeah.
And then you could message her separately and say, can you give me a summary from that group chat?
Oh my God, marry me.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Should I tell my wife about
This is
Julia?
what I'm saying. Of course.
I should?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about this.
Do you get what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like, because see how you're thinking?
Yeah.
You're still thinking like, I want to do the thing. And it's like, no, you don't have to do the thing anymore.
Yeah.
It'll do the thing. Do you know what I mean? The same way it does, like the same way.
Because this is what I mean, right? You could build this agent now, and whilst it's tailored for me, it can be tailored for it could be used by everyone, as in all these other individuals and companies now.
Yeah, the template, yeah, but the
Yeah.
training, no.
The training I
It's
have to
gotta
do.
No, it's got to be.
You have to
it's
do?
got to be fit to Pascon.
Yes, of course. But
So
I'm saying specifically for the time being, like the emails, the WhatsApp, like this agent, you've built it now. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of this fucking bubble
Yeah.
on the internet or on the platform.
Yep.
You can use that bubble and plug it into another company.
No.
Why?
So you can use the template.
Yeah.
So I want you to think of it like this: if there is, okay, you built this house,
Yeah.
So you can now make me the same house like that, right?
Yes.
No, you can't.
I can.
do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
so
I can build you
you're
that
like,
same
I could
house.
probably build it much quicker.
Yeah.
I've kind of got the frameworks and I know the stuff, and we've got all the design stuff, and I've got
what I'm
leftover
asking you.
supplies.
I've got that house. I want to build that. If you want that same house, yes, I can build it for you. So I have to go out and actually physically build the whole thing from scratch. So you have to build a brand new agent from scratch.
So no, you can. So the same way you can template. So the same way you're not building the house from scratch because the design process is already done.
Yeah. So the
We can
design
take-
process is done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can take the design, we can upload, so that the platforms allow you to upload templates. So I can say, okay, cool, man, this bot that we've created that does all these things, turn this into a template, and now I can clone that.
Because I was saying,
But I still need to make it you.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like this now, I've trained this for George. What if so-and-so down the road doesn't want the same thing
Operates
George?
different.
Yeah, he's like, no, my emails, I want this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we need to make it do that.
Okay.
The same way someone come in and be like, whoa, what color paint?
So the plans are the same.
The plans are the same.
Plans are the same, but then the execution
body
of
is the
building
same.
it has to
The-
be. It still has to be built.
The frame is
So
the
to
same.
me, so does that then say? Does that then mean it's going to take you a long? So is it hard for you to scale?
No. What's why?
So could
Everything
you
is
have?
scalable.
I know. Yeah, that's what I mean. So could you have an agent that builds agents?
Yeah, I don't think they have that yet.
Yeah.
But
You know what I mean? So I'm trying to say, like, how could you sell 10,000 of these agents to people?
I don't know.
You don't know that answer yet. Yeah. That's what I'm just thinking from
There's-
your
so
perspective.
there's
Because
two
it
ways.
would be a long process if you have to build 10,000 agents now.
Yeah.
That's a big process. Oh, if you have 1,000 employees and you want all your employees to have a Julia,
Yeah.
can that work too?
Why not?
No, I'm asking you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've said, hey guys,
I think it's going
we've
to be
now
the point
rolled
where
out
you're
a
going to
new
have
AI agent.
They'll be numbered.
This is our agent. Her name's Julia.
37.
So each person will have their own Julia number.
Like yeah, like well, how many names are you going to have? If you're
So
got a
no, but
business
I'm looking at it from what the agent does.
yeah.
So by putting him in a box. So Julia is our email and organizing agent, our
just like an
scheduling
assistant.
agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your own personal assistant.
Yeah.
So everyone, this is Julia. Julia, this is everyone.
Yeah.
You know, everyone gets to meet her and has those. So could she be intertwined with all the other Julias, like Julia 14 and Julia 37?
Yes.
And know what these people do and how they talk and all that sort of shit?
Yeah.
And then learn from that as well? Like, would she learn about the company, about how everyone writes emails? Then maybe I could have Julia number one, right? Because it's the number one. I say, Julia, who's fucking up? Tell me, send me a report. Who's not doing this? Who's doing that? Like, can you do that?
As in, can they see what other people are doing?
Yeah. Could Julia number one see what all the other Julias are doing?
If you set it up that way, yes. If she has access,
Yeah.
But can you see what your employees are doing?
If I wanted to.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why can't this be set up like that? There's only one way that you would see your employees that's not transferable, and that's by sitting opposite them.
Yeah. So the AI agent itself, then, do you need to train it per employee?
No, why?
No, I'm just asking because they're going to have different ways that they operate. You know,
People-
I don't mind
yeah,
if they
but
have different ways of
So
doing things.
your employees bend for the business, not
Yeah.
the business doesn't bend for the employees.
Yeah, but if they have a certain way of filing that works for them, for example, and they want to do it a certain
That's
way,
just-
as long
that's
as they're
just-
getting the work done, I don't give a fuck.
yeah, but that's just a bad training.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Humans are hard to train.
yeah,
They're stuck in their ways. Blah blah blah. You train this however you want.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And if I have 10 children and I train all of them the exact same way, they will all come out pretty similar. Like you'll find like the family, they all do this or they all like this, whatever it is. They'll all come out fairly similar. Yes, you can argue, oh, but this kid does this and this kid does that. And it's usually because there's a slight difference that you haven't paid attention to, in my opinion. I don't think humans are born with traits. Do you reckon humans are born with traits?
No, they're given. They're put there
Picked
by
up.
others.
Yeah, they're picked up something, you know what I mean? Like the traits are all picked up from things that we're not even aware of. We lack awareness around, even though you can sit there and say, I'm enlightened individual, it's like you still lack awareness.
Yeah.
Like you're not aware of everything. You cannot be aware of everything. It would be sensory overload.
Yeah.
You can't pay attention to every single fucking thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And this is like that. So you can train these. And if I train one, and this is my training regimen, so this is and by training, I mean feeding them information. Yeah. So I give them a bunch of information and they work off that. That becomes their knowledge base. If I go copy and paste that, the next one should do the exact same thing. They don't sit there like, oh, but I like to do it like this. And it's like, no, you don't. Do it this way. This is how we do it. And it knows it's broken down into a series of steps. You know what I mean? Humans are complex.
Yeah. So now I've got Greg working for me, AI agent, and you've actually somewhat built this already. And Greg's just going to call everyone that's going to come to our next event.
Yeah.
Say, hey, Robbie, great to see you. Really excited to have you at the Next Success Conference. Such and such, just wondering if you have any questions, but whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So it's this agent's actually calling every single person.
Yes.
And getting the information. You're actually building that for us as we speak.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. That now instead of me paying my PA to do it
Yeah.
for 3 days, this AI agent can now will it make one call at a time, or does it go out and make 30 calls or 50 calls at a time?
So if you're going to do that, you got to connect 50 phone numbers.
Right.
Which, unless you had a large amount.
100,000 people you have to call.
Another thing you need to factor in is like, can it process that much information at once? If it's talking to 150 people at once, can it comprehend everything happening all at the same time, and how powerful the models are? Because the models are getting more powerful.
That's what I mean. Like, I would imagine that this is at a point where it's getting to become limitless. Like, what's the constraint? Is it electricity? Like, is it memory? Is it like, what's the constraint?
Yeah, it's they aren't completely developed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. They're developing over time. Like they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And then if you realize there's different models. So if you go into ChatGPT and you'll see like, you might have GPT 440, right? Or 4.0. And then there's 4.5. And then there's 3.0. And there's 3.0 mini. And there's 4.0 mini. And it's like everyone has slightly different, more capability. It's like, hey man, I've trained this kid to be good at maths, but this one, she's a really good writer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like they're both great, but they're both more skilled in different ways.
Yeah.
So you can have different, they refer to it as the brain, right? So like there's 3 aspects, the tools, the brain, and the knowledge base. You can have different brains for every single, and that's why you wouldn't have one doing everything.
Yes. Okay.
Now, will it get to the point where you might have one doing everything?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's cool that we've got that one getting built at the moment, because thinking about, as you said, I don't have to pay it. It's getting it done in probably a lot quicker time than someone physically picking up a landline and calling and dialing the numbers and, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Oh, I forgot to tell them that shit.
The cost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so we have a sales co-pilot. So, and what that is before anyone gets on a sales call, we input someone's LinkedIn URL and their website, and it goes and it scrapes their website, scrapes their LinkedIn URL, and it tells us everything about the individual, the company, and then knows everything about our company, so how we fit in. So it'll be like, hey, Robbie, you're going to work with George. George's weak points in his business are this and this and this, and I think your company can help them really well from this angle. You know what I mean? It gives me some opening lines.
Yeah.
It gives me, and this is what we've trained it on. So we can train it to be whatever we want. I can be like, hey, you're only giving me 3 opening lines. Give me 5 every single time.
Yeah.
And so, okay, cool. Hey, you mentioned this every single time. Don't mention this anymore. Okay, cool. And we just continually refine it, right? Yeah. That's a very basic type model. But if I said to someone on the team, hey, I'm going to meet with George from Pascon. Can you go look at George's, go look at his LinkedIn
Profile, yeah.
Go look at his website and then I want you to provide me a full summary of how I can approach this call, like a 1-page summary. How long would that take?
Yeah. 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever.
Yeah.
Time.
How much is it going to cost?
Yeah. Exactly. Their hourly rate.
Yeah. What are the
Plus the
25,
opportunity cost of
30,
everything else they could do.
$30 an hour?
Yeah.
So it's going to cost you $100 to get something like that done?
Yep.
It costs you about 3 cents. And it happens instantly. So you get it within a minute, maybe less. Like that. Because it looks at the whole LinkedIn, comes back, looks at this whole thing. I reckon it'd be close to a minute.
Yeah.
Because it's got to scrape the data and do all that. But within a minute, you've got this full summary. It's cost you 3 cents. And all of a sudden now, like imagine you had someone dedicated to market research in your team. That person's gone. He's lost his job.
Yeah.
Because now I've got someone who can do it 100 times quicker for 1/100th the cost. How do you compete with that? You don't.
Yeah.
So no cost or low
Very
cost.
low cost.
Yeah. Low cost. No annual leave. No sick leave.
No HR issues.
No fair work letters.
And it'll probably get to a point with very few mistakes.
Yeah, well, it'll be less than once, and as it continues to develop,
That's what I mean. It continues to develop.
It's just going to start to
gonna
nail everything every single time.
Yeah, it may not be perfect the first one.
Yeah, but here's the
But
best
it'll train.
part. Here's the best part. So let's say you got a really complex thing that you do. Let's just say, for example, tenders, quotes, tenders, estimates.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detail in an estimate, right? So then you notice, you're like, fuck, man, like it keeps making this error or it keeps making that error, or, 1 in every 5, there seems to be an error. Okay, so let's build an AI agent that can check this for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, let's build something that can then refine it and is taught to train this and tell it when it makes a mistake. And then all of a sudden you got Greg and Julia talking and Greg's training
Julia.
because obviously men are better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. That thing I had to do manually, I don't have to do anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it's already getting done.
Because that's where I saw, you mentioned it, like that's where I saw a huge inefficiency in my business was the tendering aspect of things. And, there's even human error to take into consideration.
Yeah.
Have I made a mistake on doing a takeoff? Or did my team make a mistake on doing this or doing this? Whereas this will be able to look at the plans, interpret them, and in 10 minutes give you, okay, George, this is going to cost $6.4 million.
Yeah, and probably be
$6.4
more,
million,
right?
$6,483,913 cents.
Yeah, and probably be more accurate than, or at least get to the point where it will be more accurate than.
And that's an agent that, man, you build that, it's worth millions to you, to a person building that, like as into a company. That's worth so much money. Because all of a sudden, what used to take me six weeks time.
This is where you're getting wrong. It's not an agent. It might be 40 agents.
Yeah, whatever it is that
You know what I
does
mean?
that. So So would you have one that does the takeoff, one that does the money, one that does
probably.
whatever it is,
Probably.
the proposal?
Yeah, and then one that you give the information to at the start and say, go sort it out. And then he goes and speaks to every single one and then comes back to you 20 minutes later and says, here. And then you're like, what the fuck are they doing here? Do you know what I mean? And you look at it and you start flipping. And you go and you say, what the fuck? You guys want your jobs? Because I'll replace you.
You want Christmas?
Yeah.
You want your Christmas bonus?
Yeah. Do you want to go home and see your families? Because I will replace you very fast.
Yeah.
Understand?
So that's the sort of shit that's so powerful there. That's from me thinking about, and you nailed that for me. That's worth its weight in gold. Especially like if there's a level of nervous, I'd be checking it at the beginning anyway, as in probably doing it manually myself and getting them to do it to see how accurate it gets, or how close it gets.
And then you're like,
but even
you're like
okay,
it's off. And
2
it's like,
nights,
you're off.
Yeah. 2 nights ago, yesterday, I submitted a tender. And for me to put the actual, so I did all the numbers, had everything there, it was all good to go. And then putting the actual proposal together took me throughout the day, let's say a couple of hours. All right. I know for a fact that you train an agent to do that, it'll be done in like 3 minutes or in 30 seconds.
This is where people will get let down. It's like most people don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And it's like, you like put the proposal together and then they kind of work it out as they go and they're like, this is good enough, whatever. You know what I mean? You need to have things templated, defined.
That's right. And that's what I've kind of got that already.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of templates and I can say, this is a example of the proposal that I give.
Yeah.
And it's got all these all this thing, all this, blah, 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 blah. It needs to include all these things. And then obviously I would still look through it because it might be specifics or things that I need to update or whatever it might be. But ultimately, instead of that taking me 2 hours or 3 hours to put together,
it might take you
takes
20
10.
minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like it's a much simpler process and it saved me so much time. Not only has it done a 6-week job for me in half an hour, it's then done the 3-hour task for me in 5 minutes and taken me 20 to do.
Yeah, and it's like the same way you would look over it when you gave it to a new employee.
And that's the exact same
and
thing.
you'd still say, let me check it.
That's right.
Let me just make sure that this was right. And you'd see what they did and you'd be happy with it within your company's guidelines. The exact same thing until you got to the point where you're like, I know they're good. Like, I don't have to check this anymore.
That's right. That's right.
Like, they are good. Like the same way you build that
not going
trust
to make a mistake
with an employee, you're going to build it the same way here.
Yeah.
The same way they're going to understand how you communicate, it's going to be the same thing here. The AI is going to learn and it's going to be like, I'm going to double check this because George gets angry. Because George gets angry when there's an error on the last bit.
Yeah.
And it takes that in. It's got the ability to reason, which is thinking. You know what I mean? And this is something we haven't dealt with before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to change everything, dude.
Yeah, man, it's so cool. Look, do you know what would be great? It's like when we double back on this conversation in 12 months' time. You know, and then we've got agents in the business. You've got things that are happening, or you see where the space is, and everyone knows what an agent is, and it's like a normal part of life. And then you see everyday people using agents, even like a mum or a dad to order their coffee, in the morning.
That's going to happen. This is what I think people aren't understanding. It's going to get to the point where imagine at one point people were like, wait, you connect your thing, you plug it into the wall and you connect and you dial something and it makes these weird noises and you connect and you can talk to other people somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like that's bizarre. Like how do you
On
know
the
who's
other
on
side
the
of
other
the
side?
world,
Yeah, how do you know who's on the other side? That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And now it's like you fucking take Wi-Fi off a kid, he turns into a crackhead. Do you know what I mean? They fucking lose their shit. We can't live without the internet. We become so dependent on it. This is that. People are going to become so dependent on it. Like so dependent on it because this is so powerful. It's just going to become a way of life. And we're not going to remember what life was like. Can you imagine not being able to find something out instantly?
Yeah.
Like, can you think about that? There was people who went their whole life without being able to answer a question.
Yeah.
Their whole life.
Which is why it was like, even at school, they taught the capital of Brazil, and all these things. You're taught these useless things. Like, why would we need to learn all of these things now when I can just pick up my phone and Google it?
Yeah, if I
and get
want
the
to
answer?
know what the thing is, I can learn.
Like, it's not an issue anymore.
Because
we don't need to
the
know
way
these things.
we're living is going to change. Like, I think the next thing is going to be about leverage. Like, how do I build systems that I can leverage in my life? Do you know what I mean? And there's a whole bunch of doomsday theories where they think humans are going to become irrelevant. Like, we're going to be the less superior species. But that is going to happen. We're going to be the less superior. This is going to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, ChatGPT, turned around and said, my kids are never going to be smarter than AI.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to accept that. Like, they're never going to be smarter than it. Ever. They're going to grow up in a world where AI is more intelligent than them.
Yeah.
He's like, and that's just the world they're going to grow up in. He's like, is there downsides to that? Yes, he is, but there's also many upsides.
Yeah, it's like, man, it's how you take it.
Yeah, but it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah, like, man, you could have a massive conversation about this for a very long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very long time. And it's great. It's exciting because it's the first of many conversations I think we're going to have.
We'll keep everyone posted with how
it.
this is coming along.
That's it. But the only way you'll actually know about the status of this conversation is if you are subscribed to the podcast. So if you haven't done so already, definitely do it and then tell all your friends about it, because that's how we can reach many people, have interesting and in-depth conversations day in, day out, week in, week out.
week in, week out. Every Monday,
New episode landing.
you know where to find us.
That's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I hope I hope we've just tickled something inside of you.